Today we will discuss about the post-well heat treatment. Let's see why PWST is required. Residual stress relief. So there are four reasons why we need PWST is required. For example, the residual stress relief, that's the main foremost point, and the enhancement of mechanical properties, and then microstructural improvement and compliance with industry standards. So here you can see what is the primary reason of conducting PWST. What is the primary reason means to relieve residual stress induced by welding. So whenever we do the process of welding, there will be a residual stress introduction. So we need to relieve that residual stresses. So that's the reason, that's the primary reason for conducting PWST. We said that it improves the mechanical property. How does PWST enhance mechanical properties? Actually, it improves the ductility and toughness in the welded joints. So basically the ductility and toughness, these two parameters are very important parameters. So it improves whenever you do the PWST, that enhances the mechanical properties by improving the ductility and toughness in welded joints. So what microstructural improvements occur during PWST? PWST refines microstructure leading to a more uniform grind size. So we need to see that it's a more uniform grind size is coming. So PWST refines to the microstructure. And which industry standards mandate PWST? PWST, some industry standards are mandating. So what are those? Which industry standards mandate PWST? So standards such as BSEN 10225 require PWST for specific materials. How does PWST minimize the risk of cracking? So whenever we do the PWST, it minimizes the risk of cracking also by alleviating the residual stress that could lead to cracking during service. So the residual stress can lead to cracks. So by relieving or alleviating the residual stress, we can avoid this cracking during the service. In what type of applications PWST is particularly critical? It's critical applications like offshore structures. So what are the consequences of not performing PWST on welded joints? If you don't do the PWST on welded joints, what would happen? Like increased risk of cracking, distortion, and reduced durability. Can PWST improve the fatigue resistance of welded components? This is one question, like if you do the PWST, whether it will improve the fatigue resistance of welded joints or not. Can PWST improve? Yes, it reduces the likelihood of fatigue failure. So basically it reduces the likelihood of fatigue failures. What is the significance of reducing residual stresses? Why do we need to reduce? What is the significance of reducing residual stresses? So residual stresses are introduced whenever there will be welded joints. So welding operation happens in the members. So it enhances the overall integrity and performance of the welded structure. So if you reduce the residual stress, it will enhance the overall integrity and performance. How does PWST relate to safety in engineering? So how can you relate PWST and safety in engineering? It ensures that welded structures can withstand operational demands safely. So if we perform the PWST on the welded joints, it improves its operational demand, right, safely. So it related to safety also. So this is what we have seen, like residual stress relief means welding induces high residual stresses due to uneven thermal expansion and contraction. How come residual stresses are induced? Means because of the thermal activity, there will be an uneven thermal expansion and contraction. So it induces high residual stresses. So PWST is essential, important to alleviate these stresses, and that minimizes the risk of cracking and distortion during service. It not only minimizes the risk of cracking, but also it minimizes the distortion during service. Enhancement of mechanical properties. How does the PWST improves the mechanical property? That we can see. If we perform the PWST, it improves the ductility and toughness, making welded joints more resilient under operational loads, particularly in dynamic environments. So offshore structures are particularly in dynamic environment only. So if you perform the PWST, it improves ductility and toughness. Microstructural improvement. How does the PWST improve the microstructural improvement? Like the process refines the microstructure, leading to a more uniform grind size and improved overall material property. So it improves the more uniform grind size as well as overall material property also it's improving. What are the industry standards that mandate PWST that we have seen, right? Like many standards such as BSEN 10225 require PWST for specific materials, especially in critical applications like offshore structures, to ensure safety and reliability. Let's see how is PWST done. PWST process, it has four main parts like a heating, holding, cooling, monitoring. Okay, so the welded component is heated to a predetermined temperature, usually between the 550 degrees centigrade and 700 degrees centigrade. This can be achieved using methods such as, actually we have three different methods to heat, so that it can be taken to the predefined temperature in the range of 550 to 700. So all those welded component is heated. So where you are welding, that component will be heated, that welded component. There are three methods like a furnace and induction heating and resistance heating. So how is PWST? That means you can see what is the typical temperature range for PWST. It is between 550 degrees centigrade to 700 centigrade. What methods can be used for heating during PWST? There are three methods like furnaces, induction heating and resistance heating. How long is a welded component usually held at a target temperature? You know the target temperature. Target temperature is 550 to 700 in that range. But how long is that welded component usually held at that target temperature? We need to hold the welded component in that particular temperature. So it gives approximately 1 hour per inch of thickness. But you can see more detail about this holding period. That's a critical parameter in BSEN codes. So we have seen three methods of heating, right? Furnaces, that means controlled heating in industrial ovens. Furnace means it's like a oven kind of the industrial ovens. And induction heating, that's using electromagnetic fields to heat specific areas. If you wanted to heat a specific area, you can use induction heating that uses electromagnetic fields. And next one is resistance heating, passing electrical current through the material. So if you pass the electrical current, there will be heat effect. Even in your iron box also it works with that mechanism, right? So if you pass the electrical current, it will introduce the resistance heating. So next one, what we are seeing, the holding, right? Holding means the materials, the welded component is maintained at the target temperature for a specific duration. That specific duration is determined based on the thickness and material type, usually often about 1 hour per inch of thickness. Actually, if you see these heating methods, controlled heating, that PWHT can be performed using furnace, induction heating or localized heating methods. Example, flame heating. The goal is uniform temperature distribution to avoid thermal gradients. So basically during welding process there will be a thermal gradient like expansion and contraction because of that residual stress is happening. So to alleviate and remove the residual stress only we are applying the PWHT. So the goal of PWHT process is to have a uniform temperature gradient or distribution to avoid thermal gradients. Uniform temperature distribution on the welded component. After that, what cooling methods are used after PWHT? Air cooling and furnace cooling. There are two kinds of cooling, so air cooling and furnace cooling. Why is controlled cooling important in PWHT? To avoid introducing new stresses in the material. So we need to avoid the introduction of new stresses. So the controlled cooling is important. Why is the controlled cooling important in PWHT? Means like to avoid introducing the new stress in the material. What role does temperature monitoring play in PWHT? It ensures compliance with the specified heating and cooling parameters. How is temperature typically monitored during PWHT? When we are heating that material to 550 to 700 and we are going to hold at particular time, means we need to monitor the temperature. So how is temperature typically monitored during PWHT? That is using thermocouples and recording systems. What happens if the temperature exceeds the specified limit during the PWHT? It can lead to undesirable microstructural changes or damage. So what would happen if the temperature exceeds that specified limit? Means it can lead to undesirable microstructural changes and damage. You will not be able to get the desired mechanical properties. What factors influence the holding time during the PWHT? Usually the material thickness and type. These two factors influence the holding time during PWHT. Is it possible to perform PWHT without specialized equipment? No. Controlled heating and monitoring equipments are essential. So it is not possible to perform PWHT without specialized equipment. These specialized equipments are required because we need to have a controlled heating and monitoring. Those purpose the equipment are essential. So here we have seen like holding time and cooling rates, right? So holding time calculation for materials over certain thickness. Over certain thickness only, AWS is D1.1 recommends holding times generally in line with BS guidelines, like around 1 hour per inch of thickness and maximum 4 hours, something like that would come. Cooling methodology. Controlled cooling is vital to prevent the development of new residual stress. So why do we need to have controlled cooling? We have seen, right? So to avoid the new introduction of the residual stress. So cooling methods include air cooling and furnace cooling. Air cooling means general exposure to ambient temperature, gradual exposure to ambient temperature, and furnace cooling means keeping the component in the furnace until it reaches a safe temperature. So here you can see the thermal monitoring. Thermal monitoring, also continuous monitoring using calibrated thermocouples, is essential for maintaining the temperature within the specified limits during the heating and cooling holding phases. So here you can see the continuous monitoring of temperature and time is crucial for ensuring compliance and using thermocouples and recording system. Next question, where is PWST done? Fabrication shops. Most commonly performed in controlled environments where proper heating equipment is available. On site, for some large components or structures, PWST may be conducted on site using portable heating systems. So there is a possibility of having portable heating systems that can be used for the large components or structures and on site. So specialized facilities. Some projects may require PWST in specialized treatment facilities equipped to meet stringent temperature and environmental controls. So what's the purpose of PWST? Means like a durability enhancement. It increases the durability and lifespan of welded structures, particularly in demanding environments like houses, and failure prevention. Reduces the likelihood of failures due to fatigue, brittle fracture, and stress corrosion cracking, particularly in high stress applications. Regulatory compliance, that usually ensures adherence to industry standards, because industry standards asking for it, demanding for it, so allowing structures to withstand the operational demands safely and reliably. We said that there will be improved mechanical properties because of PWST. So the tensile strength, if you see, enhanced ductility and toughness, leading to improved yield strength and ultimate tensile strength. And then impact toughness, increased Charpy impact values, indicating better resistance to brittle fracture at low temperatures. So microstructural changes like a refined grain structure, a more uniform and grain size in the heat affected zone as well as weld metal, that contributing to the enhanced mechanical properties, and phase changes. Depending on the material, transformations may occur that lead to improved toughness and ductility, reduction of hardness. So lower hardness levels in the weld zone can be observed. So it reduces the hardness levels in the weld zone also. That's reducing the risk of hydrogen induced cracking. So what are the most common locations for performing PWST? Means common location is a fabrication shop. Can PWST be performed on site? Yes, of course, it can be performed off site for large components using portable heating systems. What type of facilities are specialized for PWST? Facilities equipped for stringent temperature and environmental controls. What are the advantages of conducting PWST on site? It reduces the need for transporting large components. Are there specific environmental controls requiring during PWST? Yes, to ensure consistent heating and cooling. How does the location affect the PWST process? Different locations may have varying capabilities and equipment. What are some challenges associated with on-site PWST? Limited equipment and environmental controls compared to fabrication shops. What type of heating method might be used in remote locations? That's a portable induction heating systems. How is quality controlled in specialized PWST facilities? Through rigorous monitoring and adherence to standards. What documentation is needed when PWST is performed on site? Detailed records of temperatures, durations, inspection results. So here, what is the primary purpose of PWST? To enhance the durability and lifespan of the welded structures. How does the PWST contribute to failure prevention? It reduces the likelihood of failures due to various stress. And what types of failure can PWST can mitigate? So fatigue, brittle fracture, and stress corrosion cracking. How does the regulatory compliance relate to PWST? It ensures structures meet with industry standards for safety. What role does PWST play in high stress applications? It helps manage residual stresses that can lead to failures. How can PWST improve the reliability of welded joints? By enhancing the mechanical properties and reducing defects. What impact does PWST have on maintenance cost? It can lower maintenance cost by increasing durability. Why is PWST essential for high strength steels? To prevent brittleness and enhance toughness. What happens to welded structures without PWST in demanding environments? They are at high risk of premature failure. How does PWST contribute to overall project safety by ensuring integrity and reliability of critical structures? What changes in residual stresses are expected after PWST? A significant reduction in residual stress. How does PWST affect tensile strength? It generally enhances both yield strength, ultimate tensile strength. What is the significance of improved toughness, impact toughness? It indicates better resistance to brittle fracture, especially at low temperatures. What microstructural changes occur in heat affected zone and after PWST? A more uniform and fine grain structure. So grain structure is more uniform and it will be finer. That will be the microstructural changes that occur in the heat affected zone. How does the PWST affect the hardness of the weld zone? Actually, it often leads to reduction in the lower the hardness levels, reducing the risk of hydrogen induced cracking. What measurement techniques are used to assess the residual stress post PWST? Techniques like X-ray diffraction. What is the expected effect of PWST on fatigue resistance? PWST typically improves fatigue resistance significantly. Why is it important to document changes observed after PWST for compliance to track effectiveness? Here you can see what is the goal of controlled heating in PWST, just to ensure the uniform temperature distribution and avoid thermal gradients. How is holding time calculated for PWST? Based on material thickness and type, generally 1 hour per inch of thickness. What cooling methodology is recommended to prevent new stress? Controlled cooling, either through air cooling or furnace cooling. Why is it essential to maintain temperature within the specified limits to avoid adverse effects on the material's microstructure? What types of heating methods are commonly used? Furnace, induction heating, and localized heating methods. What happens if the cooling rate is too fast during PWST? It can lead to development of new residual stress. How does the PWST process differ for various materials? Different materials have unique temperature and holding time requirements. What factors are considered in post-weld inspection requirements, like type of weld materials used and potential service conditions? What is the purpose of maintaining documentation during PWST process? To ensure regulatory compliance and traceability. So if you see what would be observed in the materials after PWST means like reduced residual stresses. Measurement techniques like X-ray diffraction may show significantly lower residual stress in treated areas. Actually, after the post-weld treatment, the inspection criteria, if you see, that mandates post-weld inspections using methods like ultrasonic testing and radiographic testing to evaluate the integrity of welds post-treatment. Post-weld inspection requirements, if you see NDT methods, both BSc and AWS D1.1 emphasize rigorous post-weld inspections, which may include ultrasonic test. Ultrasonic tests used to detect internal defects within the weld. Radiographic test for identifying discontinuities, voids, or inclusions in the welds. Magnetic particle test to detect surface defects in ferrometric materials. Dye penetrant testing for identifying surface breaking defects. How can NDT be used to evaluate PWST effectiveness? Means by assessing the internal and external weld quality and post treatment. You can see like what inspection criteria does PSEN mandate post PWST? That methods like ultrasonic test and radiographic test. How is holding time determined according to BSEN? Means recommended as 1 hour for every 25 mm of material thickness and more also.